Hey, my lovely goal-getters. Welcome to the Moms Making Money Show. I'm your host, Amie Pederson, business mentor and confidence coach for the emerging boss mom. It's my mission to help amazing women just like you up-level yourself and your business because you are meant for more than wiping boogers and folding laundry. I'm also a wife, mother, urban farmer, influencer, green juice enthusiast, and an unapologetic lover of cowboy boots. I can't wait to help you grow your business by sharing my tips, tricks, proven business strategy, experience, and incredible guests. Hang on tight and enjoy the show. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends and educational partners over at Podia. That's Podia.com. And the cool thing about Podia is that they are a super user-friendly platform that is basically all-in-one. It takes care of your email marketing, whether you are setting up an automation or you are sending out a one-time newsletter. They take care of hosting a membership site, so you don't have to use social media to host your memberships. They also take care of your digital downloads. So this works perfect for opt-ins and freebies and helping you grow your business and drive your traffic that way. They also take care of hosting your courses, where you can put in all of your courses and give access. You can actually also collect payment through Podia. It's amazing. It's so all-in-one, and it's so easy to use, and it's so intuitive. The best part is they have amazing customer support. Hands down, some of the best customer support I have ever experienced. And I've tried a lot of things out there. The great thing that they've done for us is, even though they already have a stellar, super low, affordable, like no-brainer price, their pricing is actually much lower for their highest level. They have two different levels, mover and shaker. That's still more affordable every month than some of these other guys' most affordable programs. So, and you get a lot more stuff. You get the email, you get all of the hosting, you get everything. They also have little templates in there that you can use if you're setting up a basic sales page, and they just make it so easy. They make the flow so easy, and they've given us a discount. So all of the listeners of today's show, not only are you going to get their already low pricing, but they've also agreed to give you an additional 15% off for life. So regardless of which program that you decide to go with, whether it's the mover or the shaker, you'll get that 15% off. Even if you bounce in between the two, you'll still get that 15% off forever. They also have an introduction where if you use the same code, you can also hop in, take a look around, get your free trial, no credit card required, see if you love it, and I'm sure you will. And then when you do decide, yep, I love it, which might be the same day, you can go ahead and get started with your discount, that lifetime discount of 15%, and get creating and get your sales and all of your automation started. So I hope that you enjoy Podia as much as I do. Happy creating! Hey, everybody. I am really excited to bring to you guys something that I think is probably one of the key components of having an online business. And my friend Danielle, and I always get this wrong, Cevallos, is going to do just that. She's going to talk to us about being a conversion copywriter and why your copy is so important. So Danielle, even though I can just not get your last name right, will you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your journey and what it looks like or looked like for you to become a conversion copywriter and be in business for yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Danielle Cevallos. You were pretty close. Good try. I'm the owner of Basic Girl Marketing, and the very short version of how I became a conversion copywriter is I kind of have, I guess people say like they always had this entrepreneurial bug. I don't know that I would say I always did, but I always wanted to try new things. I was like, my friends always made fun of me. I had like a million jobs, like between college and grad school. I had 4 different grad school, options I wanted to do. And I got married really young. I was 21 and went to grad school to become a teacher. and picked something that felt really safe and stable because I grew up without a lot of stability in my life. And there's not many things more stable than teaching. And I was a special ed teacher. So basically that's like eternal job security forever and always wherever you live. And so I kind of trekked along as a teacher for a while. And I kind of on the side would dabble with things like network marketing. It ended up not being something I really loved, but I kind of always was intrigued by this idea of making money, like kind of doing things on your own like terms. And so my husband actually, through his job, we ended up moving to Bangkok. That was about 6 years ago now. 6 years ago. And when we like that, that obviously is like a massive life shift. Like I left all of my best friends and this, the house we had built and my car and like all this stuff. Right. And I got to Bangkok, was teaching there at an international school, and just wanted something else to do. I didn't have all my friends there. We were really active, like in our church and everything. And we're in this place where I didn't really know anybody. So I decided to become a personal trainer. And I had always exercised. I was a gymnast. I really loved workout clothes. And so I thought I'll be a personal trainer. I got certified while I was there, and I ended up working with a business coach who at the time had a digital marketing agency. And what I forgot to mention is my husband and I adopted our daughters about 10 years ago is when we adopted them, but about 12 years ago, I started a blog and had kind of just blogged the whole journey. That was back when blogs were really big and everyone was kind of starting to make one. And I had grown that pretty well over the years. And so, fast forward to this business coach with her digital marketing agency, I ended up, she asked me if I wanted to write for her. She saw that I had some, writing experience, and I was like, sure. And so I ended up doing that, and then she liked it. So I ended up writing for all of her digital marketing agency clients, which were about 85% fitness pros, which made sense because I had that background after becoming a trainer. And so I was kind of running my online fitness business, teaching full time, living overseas, writing for this coach. And she kind of, when I started, had probably about 10 to 12 people that I would write for pretty regularly. Every now and then there'd be someone new. I ended up moving back to the States, and her business really just blew up. I mean, we would have, 40 different clients. I was teaching here in the States again, still full time. And I was just really burned out, and I decided I'm just going to quit this business thing forever. I'm just going to teach forever and just be happy about it. It's a good job. I'm good at it. And I should just call it a day with all these business things, because I had done several different network marketing things, the online personal training thing, was doing the writing. So I just said I needed to just focus on one thing. So that lasted about a month and a half, and I got really bored and started an online store, which was ridiculous. And I ended up selling that because I didn't want it. And I just really sat down. This was last April, May. I was like, what is it? Why do I keep doing these things? Why do I never really see anything through? What isn't in me that has this desire? And I really realized that while teaching was a stable career, that I really wanted something more flexible. I was tired of working for other people. I was tired of working in a system that, quite honestly, I didn't 100% believe in at the time anymore. And I just wanted to have the freedom to do what I wanted and to go to Starbucks. And teachers, I can't even go to the bathroom when I want. So I was like, I just want to be able to pee when I want to be, and get lunch, after 10:30 in the morning. So I started doing some marketing strategy for fitness pros and realized just the insane need for copywriting, which is a skill I had, but I kind of put on the back shelf because I had just gotten burned out and I just didn't want to do it. And I was working with my business coach at the time, a different one, and she just said, what you're doing right now is not sustainable because you're still teaching full time. Is there something you can look at that's more a model that's more flexible? And I told her, I said, I'm still rewriting every one of my clients' sales pages and their social media posts and their emails. I'm rewriting all of it. I might as well just go back full time to copywriting because that's my zone of genius. It really seems to be a massive need. And so I kind of switched completely over. I had done a little bit of it the whole time I was doing marketing strategy, but switched completely over, stopped the coaching and went completely into copywriting, and have just been kind of growing and building ever since. And I quit my teaching job in May, which I think it's June, so about a month ago, and have just been growing the copywriting business since then.
I love that. And I love that you brought up, some of the restrictions about being a teacher, because let me just tell you, I think you guys are all saints, and it is a big deal because like you said, you just can't just leave whenever you need to even use the restroom. And I think so many people, besides being in a room with like 35 children, at one time, I think is a lot too, but there's just so much to it. And so shout out to all the teachers, because I love teachers and I love what they do for our youth. So definitely you guys are under-recognized and underappreciated, but
underpaid.
Yes. I mean, I can't imagine sitting in a room and being in charge of 35 tiny humans, or even more so 35 puberty aged humans. So I think 7th and 8th grade teachers, you guys have it probably the toughest.
Yeah.
But, so I definitely had to give a shout out there, because I think it's a ton of work, and again, underpaid, underappreciated for sure. So now that I kind of got off my soapbox a little bit on that, let's talk about copywriting, because it's one thing to tell people like, hey, I'm in business and this is what I do. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times people don't know. They're like, great, you're in business, and if you aren't making pizzas, they're like, what does that even mean? Like, it's hard to like wrap your brain around a lot of what goes into certain types of businesses. So when you're doing copywriting and you're like trying to give, tell somebody like an actual message, like a movement message, let's talk about how that actually it becomes effective from, so that the ideal client can understand, like, what the heck is she talking about? Is she talking to me?
Well, I think number one, there should never be a doubt in your ideal client's mind that you're talking to them. And so it starts with really knowing your ideal client. And everybody kind of talks about that, but nobody really dives deep into what that looks like, because it's a lot more than just understanding demographics. It's
right.
Knowing not just the surface level pain points, but the underlying pain points. Like when I worked with health and fitness pros, people say they want to lose weight, but there's a lot underneath that. There's, shame over having gained a lot of weight, or maybe, you're talking to postpartum moms who haven't lost the weight yet, and there's embarrassment by that. They, have just had to buy a whole new wardrobe of clothes because they can't fit into the things that they used to, and they're guilty about that. And they lack confidence. They don't want to go out to parties because they don't like how they look. They don't want to take their kids swimming because they hate putting on a bathing suit. So yes, women say things like, I want to lose 20 pounds, but underneath that is a far deeper, reason why they want to do that. And so when you can get that like intimately acquainted with your ideal client, then you just write to them. You just talk about the things that they're talking about. So, I mean, you would start off with like, are you avoiding the pool because you don't want to put on a bathing suit? Like, then it's that person who is, it stops them in their tracks, because they're like, oh crap, yeah, I am. So when you know what's in your ideal client's minds, that's your starting point always. And then your goal is always to take them from this place of like, yeah, my pain point sucks. Like, it really does suck to like not want to go to the pool with my kids and enjoy the summer because I'm so self-conscious about what I look like. You take them from that point to, hey, there is a solution for you. And I know you've tried a million different things, and here's why this one's different. And then you kind of lead into what makes your solution different in terms of their transformation, not in terms of your methods. Don't talk about all the bells and whistles of your program, but what the difference is in your transformation. And you'll hook them every time. If you sit here and say, well, my program has, 4 check-ins per week and blah, blah, nobody cares about that. But if you say, listen, I know you've tried a million different things. You've really worked hard at the beginning and then you realized it was too hard to maintain and you've given up and you felt even guiltier than when you started. But my program is designed to ease you into the process so that you feel like you are winning at every step of the program, and you won't want to give up because you're going to start seeing small pieces of success that will last forever so that you never need to invest in another diet again. Now your person's listening because it's not just like, my program's so great. It's like, whoa, wait, she has like a real method to her madness, and it sounds like I'm going to get what I want from it. So you need to always really dig deep into who your ideal client is, and not in that surface level way, but like the core motivators, the things that, are running through their mind that they would never say to anybody, the things that they really want. So many people are like, I just want to, lose 20 pounds just to feel good. No, you want to look hot in your bikini at the pool. Like, those are things that you actually want. And so being able to speak to that really directly will make it so that your ideal client never wonders, is she for me? They'll always know that you're speaking directly to them.
Right. And even if you got like super, super intimate, like, are you feeling embarrassed to even be in front of your husband in your bathing suit? Like that type of stuff, because that is like real life and it totally happens.
Yeah. And I think it just depends on who your person is. And so many people, like in business coaching programs or courses or whatever, they talk about this, but nobody really dives deep. And it does take a little bit of work. You've got to do some surveys. You've got to, stalk some Facebook groups. You've got to do some questionnaires to old clients. You've got to, get on Amazon and look at reviews and see what people are talking about. You've got to do a lot of research to really get this language. But once you get it, it's literally just like piecing together a puzzle to communicate your message to their pain and how you can transform it.
Yes, agree. I totally agree. And then the best part about that too is it takes like that feeling of, like, because I don't agree with like pressure sales. Like, I don't feel like I don't want anybody to ever feel like I've pressured them into working with me. You know what I mean? It's like, I want them to know before they even get on the phone that like, yeah, they want to work with me. And I think the best way to do that is through your copy, by letting them know like, look, I get it. I understand. I know exactly where you're coming from, and I'm speaking directly to you. And I think that's one of the biggest compliments when you get somebody who comes back and they're like, was that video about me?
Yeah. That means you're doing your job. Your content's working for you. So that's, exactly what you want to hear. And different industries will have that at different levels. When you talk about health and fitness or things like that, people will feel a lot more personal. If you're talking like a business to business thing, it's not always going to be that personal, individualized. But if you're, doing business to business and you're doing it well, then the other business owners will say, I knew within seconds that I wanted to work with you because you made it so clear what the benefits were. And so, I agree. If you are, positioning yourself well and you're really showing your readers how you are able to transform their lives, they won't ever feel pressured. They'll just feel like, this is something I want. Like, none of us feel pressured when we walk into Target and spend all our money because we see things we want, right? And so your job is to kind of let your content be your shelving, and let people see what they want in your content so that it's not weird to give you money. It's like, oh, of course I want to give you money because you're going to fix this for me, Yes.
I love that. And it does really, I almost hate to use the term, it does get to be that easy, but once you've mastered that, it does get to be that easy. It truly does. And in my experience, for myself, I found that being a recovering overthinker, that when I'm sitting down and I'm trying to think about it, I'll overthink it to death. And then I'm just like, great, now I have nothing. Whereas if I tell you like, okay, so I'm creating this mastermind and it's, for that woman who wants to start hitting 5K, 10K months instead of, just a little bit here and a little bit there. And it's super inconsistent. When I'm like saying the words out loud to somebody else and they can like prompt me for different questions of like, where are they now? What are, where do they want to go? Like those type of things. I feel like for me, it gets me out of that overthinking mode.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we all do that a little bit where, especially if you're kind of in that solopreneur phase where it's just you. And so all you have is your own brain. And we all do that. And so it's so important to make sure that you're consistently setting up checkpoints with ideal clients where you're having those conversations, because if not, well, even people whose tendency is not to overthink, you'll get in that, stage of paralysis because there's no one there guiding what you should be saying and doing. It's just you. And obviously, you need to learn to be a trendsetter and to stand out in your market and have your own ideas 100%. But your job as a business owner should always be to solve people's problems. The more problems you can solve, the more money you will make. And so
right.
if you are disconnected from the people whose problems you're trying to solve, then you'll never be able to come up with the offers they need. You'll never understand the words to use to sell them. And you won't be able to grow past, your warmest market.
That is absolutely so true. Because, and even like I like to tell people, you have to meet your clients where they are too. If your ideal client is brand new in MLM, telling them that they need a $50,000 a year coach might not be the answer for them. So just kind of having that good balance of meeting them where they are, having a good value ladder, and understanding where they are, and having, most likely you've been there before. I feel like, it's I think it would be hard for me to talk to somebody about motherhood if I wasn't a mother type of thing.
Yeah. I think that there are all different levels of that. And like when I was working with health and fitness pros, you wouldn't teach somebody who's 250 pounds overweight how to do intermittent fasting and carb cycling, which are like advanced strategies, because they don't even have the basics of nutrition yet. Right. So what you need to do is communicate to them, you want to lose weight, you've tried all these things, it's not working, let me help you get it sorted out. And you start with the basics. You give them the most, the simplest way to have a win quickly and continue to have wins. So you need to set it up so that it's sustainable and they can continue to win. And then you can move them into more advanced strategies. The same is true with business. Like you said, you're not going to sell a $50,000 coaching program to someone who literally just got their first like MLM kit in the mail. Like you're going to probably have to break down the fundamentals of social media. And if you start talking about, scaling and opt-ins and conversion rates and all these things that they literally just open the box, like they're going to their eyes are going to glaze over. But if you say, hey, I'm going to teach you how to get your first 10 clients, they're going to listen, because they don't need to hear about how. They need to hear you just bought this kit. I'm going to help you find 10 people who want to buy the products you have. Then you're like, okay, I'm here for it. What are we doing? So again, it just goes back to knowing that person, and you get to choose that person. So if you love the higher level strategy, then choose somebody who can do that. If you love, or maybe you don't have enough experience for that and you love helping people get started, then know that you're going to have to bring your messaging down to that level, even if you're not there.
Right. Absolutely. And so one of the things that I think it has been like the best investment into my business is a copywriter, and really finding clarity on my message. Like, what is my actual movement message? What am I trying to say? And I feel like you guys are so invaluable because you guys have this kind of way of getting out the words in a, like I said, I could tell you this is what I'm trying to do. And this is what I'm trying to help, my ideal client with, because she wants this and she needs this. And without me telling you, using the health and fitness type of example, that, okay, well, you're going to have to eat chicken, rice, and broccoli every night for dinner, and you're going to have to do 60 minutes of cardio, and then you're going to have to do this and this and this. All of that sounds dreadful, right? Instead of look, I got you.
I'm going to give you doable activities. We're going to get you so that you have like a foolproof meal plan, and we're going to get that 20 pounds off. Like, that sounds like, yes, you get me. Like, because all I really care about is the 20 pounds, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that some of that comes with practice. I do think, there's definitely a level of like skill when it comes to writing that some people have and some people need to work on, but it's definitely a skill that can be learned, and it comes with lots and lots of practice. And so the more you write to your ideal client, the easier it becomes. The more you talk to your ideal client, the easier your message becomes. The more you listen to the words they say to describe their problems and their desired outcomes, the easier it becomes for you to then speak into those. So I think that if you're just starting out, just to, listen to your people, like become students of your ideal client. And it's, like I said, have your own ideas. Don't copy those around you. Don't, create something just because everyone else is creating it. Like, come from your own area of expertise, but adapt what your expertise is to the needs of your clients.
Yeah.
And move them with you. If you want to, get to more advanced clients, and start out with people who you can get some evidence for and bring them along the journey with you. And you've just got to practice. Like, you've got to practice. You've got to study your results. Like, when you put out Instagram posts, which ones fall flat, and which ones get not just likes, but like real comments, not like pod comments, like people actually DMing you, people actually asking you questions. When you send out an email, which ones have the highest open rates? Which one has the quickest, the highest click rates? Which ones get responses? The more you study your own people and your own content and how it's performing, the easier it will become for you to create more that resonates.
Yes. And the key thing that I think that is so important there is the patience and the practice.
Yeah.
I was interviewing John Lee Dumas a while back, and he said, because I was like, oh my gosh, like you're like the top podcast, and you have 1 million downloads every month. Like, that's a huge deal. I said, what was it like when you first got started? How did you know like this was the path? He goes, let me just tell you about when I first got started. I was like the worst podcaster ever. He's like, I knew that my podcast had plenty of room for improvement, and I was okay with that. I accepted that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's the same with anything else. Like, like when you're learning how to paint your nails on your left hand or something, like, or your right hand, I guess, if you're left or right-handed, like it just takes practice. Or like, I'm always envious of those girls who can like French braid their own hair. Yeah. Sure, I could probably learn how to do it if I kept practicing and if I had enough patience to get good at it. And I know that sounds like a really far-fetched, kind of silly example to use, but it really is the truth.
Mm-hmm. It 100% is. And I think that, to be completely honest, I think everyone should know how to do basic copywriting. Yeah. And I make a living writing for other people, but if you're a business owner, you need to understand the principles, because the principles of good copywriting, remove the writing part, but the psychology behind it, that's good sales. That's good marketing. And so if you don't understand why, then you're going to struggle in those areas. But once you get past that basic, kind of understanding, it's a really common thing to find a copywriter to write for you and outsource it. So if it's not something you love in your business, you have a decent understanding of the psychology behind it, but it's taking up a lot of your time, then outsource it. But just know that you do need to understand the psychology behind it. Maybe you don't feel as like creative with the wording and you don't want to sit down and write everything out. That's fine. But you do need to have, a 101 level basic understanding of copywriting so that you can be effective in sales and you can be effective in marketing for your business. If you love it, then practice it, get better at it, study it, look at your data, improve, and keep doing it. But if you have that basic level understanding, you don't love it, then pass it off to somebody who's really good at it.
Yeah, I love passing off my copywriting, but I do also know that, I know what I'm trying to accomplish in my business and with my clients. So it makes it a lot easier. I did struggle for a really long time because I overthought it so much. I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't even make a list of 10 things that I like a list of basic transformations. And finally my mentor was like, seriously, you can't? She's like, I need you to like go take a deep breath and come back. Like,
together.
Yeah, get it together. You're having like an unnecessary meltdown over this. But it was so true because I'm like, well, I don't know like what the transformation is. And I feel like that panic kind of sets in when you go from what do you do, like what service do you provide, to what do you help your clients with as far as a transformation goes.
Yeah, I think it's important to listen to what they want, and hopefully you're providing that transformation for them. So, for me, clients say things like exactly what you just said. I have all these things in my head and I can't get them out on paper. So when I turn over their copy to them, they're like, oh my gosh, this sounds just like me. And I love it. So to me, that's saying they want someone else to do the writing that sounds just like them. So the transformation I provide is I give you copy that sounds like you. If you are somebody who's, go back to the weight loss, I want to lose 20 pounds. You might have all these inner things that you're doing in their lives, but at the end of your program, if they lost 20 pounds, their transformation is they've lost 20 pounds and they feel great about it. They love you. Yeah. They're hugging you about it. They're putting their before and after pictures on Instagram because they're so excited. They're telling their friends. So we get all up in our heads because we're like, well, there's all these, like, if I sit down and really analyze copy, I'm like, well, I did these different things and they were so amazing. That's where the transformation. No, at the end of the day, somebody wants copy that sounds like them. And if it's sales copy, they want copy that sounds like them and converts. So at the end of the day, my message is going to be, I write copy that sells for you and it sounds like you. So I could get all fancy with that. There's 100 layers to that I know on my end. But at the end of the day, what my clients are saying is take the mess that's upside, all up in my head, put it on paper, make it sound like me, and get me some people to buy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do. And so we all have that. But we know like the industry terms and we know the processes and we know all the bells and whistles, and that's what we get hung up on. At the end of the day, if you're a business coach, your client's saying, teach me how to make more money. That's what they're saying. Yeah. I want you to teach them a part of it. Teach me how to market better. Teach me how to sell better. Teach me how to create better offers. But, they're always, we need to take out our industry jargon, our, like kind of that curse of expertise. We have to remove that from the equation and just listen to what our people are saying. What do they thank you for? What would they tell their friends about? Why would they, when they're telling somebody, if they're recommending you, what would they recommend you for?
Right. And some of the best advice that I think I ever got was if, like what would the ideal testimonial be? If you could have your ideal dream client write you the best review ever, what would it say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was like a light bulb moment for me. I was like, oh, that was like during my meltdown, of course, but it was like, oh, it really is that easy. Okay. This is the transformation they would get. This is what she would say if she went through all of the steps and did all of the, the coaching and systems and processes and actually implemented. This is exactly what she would say.
Mm-hmm. And I was just listening to a podcast. I don't remember which one it was, but the person was saying that we worry about so many things that our ideal clients never even notice, and that they would not have any, like they wouldn't have 2 cents about, like they just wouldn't care about it. So we get so caught on this word or that word, and 95% of people would never pay attention to that for 4 seconds. It's just not important to them. And so I think that's a good thing too, when you're stuck in that cycle of overthinking, whether it's your copy or, whatever else you're doing, is this really something that's going to be a hang up? Like, is it really something that people are going to notice? Like, I'm not going to work with that person because, they put a comma here instead of there. Like, no. So
if somebody, I swear, like, because I try to be grammatically correct, I use your and there and like, yeah, and yeah, like I use all those appropriately. But anybody who's going to like nitpick my copy, like I had somebody nitpick the copy on my website once because I told the copywriter, who kind of cleaned it up and got it ready for SEO. I'm like, I want it to sound like I'm actually speaking to them. I don't want it to sound like they're reading an encyclopedia or something super boring. And this person came from, I think, like legal or something. And they're like, your website, this sounds so unprofessional and da, 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 da. And at first I got my feelings hurt. And then I was like, all right, you're not going to be my friend on Facebook anymore.
No, and you're not your ideal client. They're not someone who will ever buy from you. And so, I mean, I really encourage people when I'm working, like when they're doing their own copy, to use your own slang, unless you are a lawyer and you are selling legal things, or you're, an accountant or a doctor. If you're just a business owner and you are your brand, you're a personal brand, then be yourself. And every email I write starts with, "Hey homies, what's up?" Like,
yeah, I love that.
Like, I taught in a low income high school and they all used to make fun of me for it, because I would literally be like, "Yeah, homie, what up?" And that's how I write my emails. I, say things like "peace out" at the end of them or whatever. It's just, my friends who know me in real life would know that's how I speak. And so it's really important to infuse your voice into everything you write, even if it's, not the most professional. Again, if you're a lawyer, then maybe keep that out there.
I don't know. Back in corporate, I really connected, and I told him this, like, we had a lawyer who was like our corporate attorney. And I was like, you know why we like you the best out of all of the other people? Because you wear blue jeans and you say the F word.
Well, there you go. You might get clients.
Yeah, we were a construction company and we all wore blue jeans to the office, and every once in a while we'd say the F word, So I was like, okay, he's a real dude and he gets it. He gets us. He's not this overpowering, stuffy dude.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's okay. Like, I think we just look around at what everybody else is doing and we think we should do those things. And it's so funny, because the number one thing people say when I talk about content creation is, how do I stand out? And then when I look at their content, they're just doing what everybody else is doing. And they think, oh, well, that's the key to success because everybody's doing it. But honestly, that's the key to blending in and being just like everybody else. It doesn't make you unique or distinct in any way. So the way you speak, the way you write, the things you talk about, the strong opinions you have, those are the things that distinguish you from everybody else. And those should be your things. Those should be the flags that you fly, because that's how you're going to attract your people. And that's how you're going to set yourself apart from like a bajillion other people who do what you do.
Agree. Absolutely agree. Before we wrap up here, I know that you have a really awesome free gift, and I'm just about to click my submit button on it because I want this free gift too. And it's about getting a good subject line. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I taught 9th grade English for a little while. And I don't know if you can remember back to those days, but whenever you learn to write an essay, you always start with a hook. And in the online marketing world, your email subject line is your hook. It's the thing that gets people's attention long enough to open the email. And a lot of people complain, my open rates are like 2%. Nobody's even reading my emails. Email marketing is dead. And the truth of the matter is that they just haven't learned how to effectively write a subject line. And then after that, how to effectively write an email. So if you want to learn how to write subject lines that will get your emails open, then you can grab my free guide. It's how to, I think it's 10x your email open rate with your subject lines. So it's a free guide that walks you through several different types of email subject lines. I give you examples, like real life examples that I pulled out of my own email inbox. And then I give you some tips on how to stay out of spam jail. So it's just a free guide that you can grab for free at basiccurlmarketing.com/subject. And it gives you lots of ideas, some tips, and some different types of subject lines that will increase your open rate so people actually see what's inside your emails. And I know it's for emails, but it also is good as you're writing like Instagram captions. It's kind of a good thing to think about when you're opening up your Instagram caption, because you have to press that like read more. Mm-hmm. So think of everything that I say in the email subject line guide, you can translate over to what you should put in kind of the top of your Instagram captions as well, because it's kind of like having someone open an email when they click more. So you can apply them all.
I love that. Yeah. And I think that, and that's something that I overthink about too. Like, what am I going to say about this email? Like, what's going to make them want to open it? Because the content inside is like something they really, 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 really need to see, you know? So I think that's so important to have that and just to know about that.
Yeah. I think it's so overlooked. Nobody ever talks about it, but then people are like, email marketing's dead. I'm like, no, it's not. You're just not doing it the right way. People aren't looking at your emails. So if you can master this and really tweak it, and once you start doing, look at this guide, and then you kind of look at what your audience is responding to, then you can do more of that as your open rates increase. And you look at the subject line, oh, that was like an open loop one. Let me create more of those.
Right.
So it gives you some tracks to run on.
I love that. I love that. That's so awesome. Now, before we do hop off, tell us where everybody can find you, because they're probably sitting here thinking like, okay, I need a copywriter.
Yes, I would love to be your copywriter. Okay, so you can find me basically everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Basic Girl Marketing. My website is basicgirlmarketing.com. And I have a podcast called the Basic Girl Marketing Podcast. So basically, you could just search Basic Girl Marketing and you'll find me.
Perfect. I love it. Well, I'll definitely be keeping in touch with you, and my overthinking mind will be in touch with you. But yeah, you guys go over, give her some love, give her a follow. I would love to see your guys' 5-star reviews on her amazing content for this episode. So thank you so much for joining us today and sharing so much, like I have to emphasize that it's so much amazing insight on the value of having good, strong copy.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
The pleasure was all mine.